This is the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
I'm not making any money talking these days. Good Christ. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not gonna lie to you. Still am. I guess I am a decent guy because I'm a fucking jerk, and I'm not a jerk. Apparently, I'm a dick. I'm not an awful guy, but I've done so much ridiculous stuff. I'm an awful guy. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. How are you? I am fine. Thank you for asking. Well, it's nice of you to ask out loud on a bus somewhere with your headphones on, or in a cubicle as you do data entry. In your data entry, are you entering the data of how many times I make you laugh? You should. Good Christ, you would break your computer. Oh my God, the numbers would be astounding, staggering even. I don't think the computer would be able to handle it. It would be, you would start typing the amount of times I made you laugh, and your computer screen would look like the opening credits of A Beautiful Mind. Just fucking crazy numbers flying all over the place. I don't even know if that was the credits. Was that the credits? Or was that just like a scene in it where like the numbers were flying around him? That very same scene is in The Hangover. I won't give it away, but I will tell you folks that if you have not seen The Hangover, turn this fucking show off and go see The Hangover. Because if you want funny this summer, by all means, go see The Hangover because it was hysterical. And it's funny, again, another movie where I know 6 people in it. Zach Galifianakis is a friend of mine. And, of course, by a friend, I mean a guy who is always nice to me and yet would not know who the fuck I was if I called him on the phone. Like, he only knows me by sight. So, like, if I showed up at his house, he'd probably go, "Hi, Mike. Why are you on my mega porch?" Because I'm sure he has a mega porch now, right? He's a star. When he sees me in the club, could not be friendlier or nicer. Always cool to me, and everybody is. Honestly, there's not a dick among the LA comedy elite. Your Brian Posehn's, your Patton Oswalts, and guys like that. They're all really nice, and that's cool. I mean, it's weird because most comedians, and I don't say I take that back. Comedians get a rap that they're dicks, and they don't like one another, and then they're evil and they're mean, or they can be snooty, or they can be judgmental. But for some reason, all of the guys in the LA comedy, I've met David Cross and your Bob Odenkirks and all those guys. They're all very nice people, and they always have time for a quick handshake and a nod, and they run away from you because they don't want to talk to you. That seems maybe hold on, that betrays that they're nice guys. I take that back. They're nice guys. I'm teasing. Nobody ran away from me. Bob Odenkirk certainly looked askance at me. I can tell you that. And which is a shame because he's in Breaking Bad and he was brilliant. And I haven't seen him since then. And I want to go up to him and go, "Hey, you were great." And then again, the askance look, and I have to tunnel into the ground to avoid my embarrassment and shame. Hey, folks, you know what I did last week? I did something dumb. What a shock. First of all, I'll tell you, my friend Lily Von Stupp is here producing the show, and we're on pins and needles, folks, because tomorrow she goes under the knife. That's right. She goes in for surgery. She's getting a cesarean, and then she'll give birth. There's a Lily baby coming out of her. I don't understand how it showed up there. It's an Arby's baby because I came in yesterday. She was eating probably the largest Arby's sandwich I've ever seen a woman eat in my life. I don't know if it was like a double Montana or a fucking a triple stick. I don't know what the fuck they call them over there. Because I don't go to Arby's anymore because I don't like any beef that has rainbows on it. I don't eat it. Sorry. I avoid rainbow beef as much as I can. Ever since I was a child and John Candy advertised Finnegan's Rainbow Meats on SCTV, one of my favorite sketches, or shows, certainly one of my favorite shows. I wouldn't say one of my favorite sketches, but certainly one I remember, as we would watch SCTV just before we would play Murder in the Dark. All right. Or no, we played Night Fight. I'm sorry. I forgot I told you guys about that. All right. So, yeah, we played Night Fight on Saturday night because my mom would be at Bob's. And we would play Night Fight, which means turn the lights off and just start fucking swinging, which is a great game. You should try to play it now. I would like to play it now. Unfortunately, it's just me and Karen, and that's not much of a night fight, folks. Karen eats a right hook and goes down, and the next day at work she has to go, "Hey, I walked into a door." And we have a one-bedroom apartment. It's got 3 doors in it. People are going to know that's a fucking lie. You either walk into the front door, you walk into the bathroom door, you walk into the bedroom door. That's narrows down your walked into a door excuse because you can't say we fell down the stairs because we live in a fucking one-bedroom apartment on the first floor. No stairs to fall down. This is what has kept me away from domestic abuse all these years, folks. The fact that there are no excuses. There's certainly there's no shortcuts to pin it on. I can't say, slipped in the tub. We've got a very nice mat in the tub. It can't happen. So I've thought to myself, you know what? Tread lightly, Mike. Don't take a swing because you will be fingered out immediately. And Karen's a terrible liar. She's an awful liar. If I ever took a poke at her and like she wound up, getting a black eye or something, she'd just be like, "I walked into a fist. I mean door." And then they'd be like, whose fist? She'd be like, not Michael's. That was the guy's name, not Michael. Bracelets, behind the back, jail. All right. That's not the only thing keeping me from domestic abuse, of course. The other fact is I have 2 strikes. All right, so I have 2 strikes. What if I had 2 strikes? How great would that be? My fighting at the ballpark had gotten me a strike. Like it was that crazy of a brawl. Oh, that would be brutal. Okay. They put it on TV. It was such an interesting fight. They took the cameras off the game and just showed me throwing cowbells at people. All right. So here's what I did last week. Again, my big mistake. It was my greatest mistake, as Sheryl Crow would say. Or no, it was her favorite mistake? Perhaps a brilliant mistake, as my friend Bob Gillespie would name his fantasy baseball team awkwardly. The Brilliant Mistakes. I guess that's not a bad name. It's not as good a team's name as my name. My name from my team in that league is Los Tres Gillespies because it's Bob Gillespie and 2 of his brothers, and the 3 of them are in the league. So I'm Los Tres Gillespies, and the name, grant you, the name is nothing really. It's not that funny or interesting. What's funny is my logo, my team logo, picture of their dad. Got it off the internet because their dad is a coach. So I went ahead and I said, all right, I'm going to do this. I named my team Los Tres Gillespies, and everybody was kind of like, oh, that's kind of funny, until the next day when I put my logo up, and they went, yeah, that's fucking funny. Because there's nothing funnier than someone's dad or uncle. There was it was funny. We had a debate on that at my wedding, unbelievably. Just before I said I do, we stopped. Actually, I never said I do. There's a flaw in my wedding. I think I said I will. So at a later date I could go, nah, this isn't official. If Karen knows what's good for her, she won't go anywhere. That's me kissing my fist. All right, that's right. There's nothing I want to do more than tune up my wife. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh, so we had that. It happened at my wedding. There was a long debate about how funny it would be if for Halloween you went as your friend's dad. Like, and because nobody else would know. Like, you would just show up at a party or like going to it, and they'd be like, "Who are you?" You go, "I'm Jimmy O's dad." I think that's funny. If you went as your someone's dad or someone's uncle, and then we have a goofy grab bag every year. Like every year, my buddy Mex has a big party, and everybody gets the stupidest gift you can, the stupidest grab bag in the world. We actually have a plaque, and you get your name on it if you win it. One year I gave the build your own pig set. And it was I bought pig snouts, pig ears, pig's feet, and what else? A can of Spam, and pork rinds, and bacon. I just wrapped it in a box called the Build Your Own Pig Set. And then one year I gave exotic jerky. I found like reindeer jerky, and a lot of my prizes are food oriented, folks. I've discovered. And then one year I gave this is the best thing I ever gave. You know how you can go to a place and get someone's picture, like you can get a photograph put on a coffee mug? So you'd be like, hey, look, it's my wife in the morning whenever I have coffee. Isn't that great to remind me that I love her? Well, I went and put my friend Dennis's dad on a coffee mug, and it was a picture of him holding up a coffee mug. Like it had been like a candid photo we took when we were kids in the kitchen, and he was like, haha, with the coffee. So literally it was like him with coffee on a coffee mug. And so someone opened it, and they're like, who is that? I go, that's Dennis's dad. And I would have won, God damn it, except for the fact that my buddy Jeff gave a poster of himself. Just a poster of himself, and it had his last name on it. He's just shrugging. Because, again, the object of giving it is the worst, stupidest thing you could ever want. Like that no one would ever want. Something that no one, I mean, like, we had, someone gave dominant buck urine one year, which you can get at a hunting store. Whatever, long story. So, there you go. Suck on that. Did I mention Lily's having surgery tomorrow? I think I did. I'm very worried about her. She just changed her will. She told me she changed her will for her knee surgery. I'm like, come on, seriously? That's a little dramatic. Am I in the will? Turns out I'm not. But she said, do you want to be in the will? I said, yes. But she goes, I have nothing to give, as I look around at her junk-strewn bedroom. And I go, you're right, I don't want any of this crap. But what I want is a personal services contract, a lifetime personal service. Well, after lifetime. Really, let's be honest, she's going to be dead. An after-lifetime personal services contract where she will work as producing the podcast for all eternity. And she said, done. So we're calling a lawyer. Here's the mistake I made last week, folks. I sound quiet to me today in the thing. No? Yes? Here's the mistake I made last week. I opened the show and I was like, because I listen to the show, folks. I listen to the show sometimes. And I opened it and I said, I have loose ends to tie up, folks. And then proceeded to not tie up one of the loose ends that I had mentioned. because we got to talking about ladies and dairy products and shaving cream. And so here's the loose ends I have to tie up. 2 weeks ago, I was telling a story about Jay Leno, and I said Jay Leno called my house. And then I went out and talked about everything but that. So here's what happened. I was in Las Vegas, and I called Jay Leno. I was there, and I actually called his room at Caesars. I'm like, hi, Jay Leno, because there was a rumor he would go to breakfast or lunch or whatever, hang out with comics on the road. So I said, hey, I'm a comic from Los Angeles. I'm in Vegas. I wanted to know if you wanted to get some lunch or something. Mike Schmidt. And this is before cell phones and stuff, folks. This is like there was pagers, and I was on a payphone. There were pagers, and then so I left him my home phone number, and I left him my friend's pager, and so then we went around, and then we went and laughed at strippers and got in trouble and did all the rest of the things we did that day. Drove home that night. It was that thing. If you've ever been to Vegas for like a whirlwind 24 hours, you're just bleary-eyed and like so I walk into my house. I just want to fucking sleep. I'm so out of it. And I go over and I was answering machine messages. I press it, and this message is on my machine. This is it verbatim. Hi, Mike. This is Jay Leno. Just returning your call. So here's the number for you to call on Monday, and he leaves the number and he goes, "All right, sorry I missed you, and it would have been nice to have some lunch. All right, take care." Hangs up. Why didn't he page me? That's the thing I don't understand is why didn't he might have paged me though because we were busy laughing at Viking strippers. I have no idea if he fucking paged me or not, but I couldn't. So I freak out. I'm just like, what the? And I fucking call my friends. I'm like, dude, Leno called. He called the house. He fucking called. And then I, of course, saved it. I recorded it onto my microcassette recorder, and I still have it somewhere in my house. And then the next day, I called up the number he gave me, thinking, I'm thinking it's his house. Hey, Jay, it's Mike again. How are you, idiot? No, it is the producer, like Big Dog Productions, which is his production company. And she was like, oh, I understand you're a comedian and you want to write some material for Jay. So what you need to do is this and this, and you need to give me your phone number. So I signed up to write for Jay. So then I started submitting jokes to Jay. And he used some jokes on the Tonight Show, and I used that credit. I think I still use it. Although I can't now because he's gone. But I milked the shit out of that credit on the road. Has written for Jay Leno. Yes, he has. 2 jokes. I wrote 1 million more, but 2 of them got on the air, so that's all I cared about. So that was it. So that was enough to make it legit in my mind. And the other loose end that came up is from last week, because I started talking in the beginning of the show about suicide and how you shouldn't kill yourself. And the loose end comes from I was going somewhere with that, and then spiraled off into our friends Cinnamon and Candy and Tanya last week. And what I was going to tell you was, I mentioned that I thought of suicide, and it had become a red flag whenever I had taken tests, some psych tests. And the first time it ever became a red flag was I took the Scientology personality test. I went to this is when I first moved to California. This is in '86. So I was bored living in Tustin, and they just happened to have it was when they sent them door to door. They sent these things door to door, like the personality test came to your door. And I was home doing nothing, sitting in the apartment going, hey, wouldn't it be great to see what some strangers feel about my personality? Of course it would. You know what? There's something on this motherfucking microphone it's tickling my nose. That's why we've stopped like twice, because I can't figure out what the fuck is. Hold on. There's something going. All right. I'm not insane. There's something on the microphone. Take all this out. Take this out.
No, I'm leaving it all in.
Why would you leave that in? That's retarded.
Because it's funny. And what's really funny is you, grabbing at the microphone foam like there's spider webs on it.
It feels like it to me, man. Something keeps tickling my nose. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's terrible. But I can see it. Like, I can see this hair, and I can't fucking remove it. Is it stuck in the foam? I'm going to just fucking fling it across the goddamn room. Hi. I'm back. I threw the headphones. All right, because you know why? Because it was so fucking frustrating having it happen, and her looking at me like I was fucking insane. I'm like, dude, seriously, there's hair. And she's like, well, what is it, a fucking spider web, stupid? No, it's not. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I don't want it on my goddamn face. All right. It was there. I knew it was fucking there. Sure enough, I fucking take the headphones off, and it's right there. There's like a cluster of fucking fuck, and it was like we pulled it off. And then my favorite part is she fucking took the foam off the microphone and gave it to Miyagi. She like clapped it in her hand and just rolled it. Like that somehow fixed it. Although I got to be honest, so far it has fixed it. I have not felt anything tickling my nose. But Jesus fuck. She just she's looking at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, I'm not crazy, okay? There's something on the fucking foam. God damn it. That was why, literally, I even said to her, we stopped once, and then I said to her, I go, this show's awful so far. And she goes, no, it's not. It's funny. I go, no, it's not, because there's something wrong. I can't put my fucking finger on it, but something is weird. Something's happening. And sure enough, there was something tickling my nose, and I'm going, in my head, I kept going, was it, because I shaved, so I was like, which you'll see on the lovely YouTube video, but I'm going, all right, something is going on, man. And then I could see it. Like, you know how you can see a hair? Like, I could fucking see it. All right. But that thing where she's looking at me like I'm insane, like, whatever, little boy. Yeah, that's right. I'm a fucking idiot. All right, so I threw the headphones. All right, that was dumb. Sorry. Hi, I'm back. All right, so the fuck was I talking about? Before I had a goddamn lint spider climb up my goddamn olfactory canal. Is that an olfactory canal? I have no idea. I may have made that up. All right, because it's your olfactory senses, and then it's your nasal passage. But I've made it an olfactory canal, which is actually not a bad place to vacation. Little sticky. Wear a parka. All right, so really, you know, I'll throw them again. I don't fucking care. You want to groan me? I can get groaned in a fucking comedy club. I don't need to get groaned in your goddamn bedroom. You're gonna groan in your bedroom. Save it for the clown. All right, I am here, folks. This is strange. So I took a Scientology personality test. Quite frankly, I may have just taken one here on the air. When you freaking out over an unseen clump of hair and then throwing the headphones because I just felt like a child. There you go. That's a personality test for you. And I fucking failed. Okay, so I took a personality test and I sent it in because you mail it in. This is in the old days, folks, when they didn't just grab you on the street. They actually put it to your house and you could mail it or drop it off. So I mailed mine because it was worth the price of a stamp to find out what strangers thought of me. And I went ahead and sent it. And then they called me and they're like, hey, we got your personality test and we'd really like to talk to you about some stuff. I'm like, fantastic. Because again, it was more of a fact-finding mission for me. Because this is before Scientology was Scientology. But it just made me laugh that they would send a personality test to your house. So, and I was like, I kind of knew of them, but I didn't know, what they were all about. So I wanted to go in and see on my own time. So I go in. And they sit me down and they start going through my personality test. And I have a man with me, and I can't remember his name, but he's going through the test and then he comes to the suicide thing, and it said, have you ever considered suicide? And I said yes on the test because I'm being honest, folks. I want my personality completely scaled down to the nub. I want them to get right to the heart of it. I want them to crack the sunflower seed shell off and then eat the sunflower seed of my personality. That's what I want. I demand that they do it. So I tell them yes. And they immediately freak. Like it's almost like he calls over two more dudes and they call over two more dudes and they huddle. And then I go long and I catch a touchdown. And but then they're like, look, we need to talk to you in another room. Like, because I was in a processing room with a bunch of people. Now they take me to another room with just 3 people. There's like 3 other people and me. And it's funny. One of them is just like a straight up goth, like, black hair and black clothes and like really white makeup. Truly looked like, Peter Murphy or somebody from Bauhaus. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, am I that guy? Really? Because I'm just a fat guy in a Van Halen t-shirt. So they start to break down the suicide thing, and they're like, do you feel that you're in danger? Have you tried suicide? I'm like, no. But I'm trying to play along at the same time, like I'm a spy, but also at the same time, I'm just kind of going along with what they're doing. And I'm like, no, because now I'm feeling defensively weird because they're treating me like a nutcase, and I'm not a nutcase. I just, I answered honestly because again, if you haven't thought of suicide, you're lying. Everybody in the world has thought of it because they thought of the punishment factor it would have when they were a child. No, but if I was gone, they'd feel bad about me. So. I go to Scientology, and they're running down the test, and when they're trying to get me to take courses, they're trying to get me to stay, and they're trying to get me. They wanted to give me a test, like they wanted to hook me up, which I assume was going to be an e-meter, but I didn't want to get strapped into anything. I'm like, nah, I'm enjoying this conversation with you, robot. Let's go ahead and continue this. But they're like, with suicide, we really need to find out about what's going inside your head, and this will help us. And and I'm like, no, I kept denying it. They wanted me to take courses. I kept denying it. Then they were like, well, there's just a one-time seminar. Would you be interested in that? And because you can't just keep saying no, eventually something's going. I just went, oh yeah, maybe I'd be considering that. They go, okay, it was $350. I said, whoa, dude, I work at a pizza place. Like, I barely made it, with the gas to get here, for God's sakes, for to be interviewed. And then I turned them down at every turn. And then here was the thing that made me mad. This is what pissed me off, and this is what showed me, even if I was ever going to be swayed to the Scientology way of doing things, this is what put me off them fucking forever. After they were getting nowhere with me, they tried one guy, they tried another guy, they tried 3 guys in total to get me, it took me to one room with the e-meters. I wouldn't let them hook me up. Finally, when I finally had basically said, look, I'm going to leave, thank you, but no thank you. They went, wait, hold on. There was one more person who really wants to talk to you. They went in the back, and they got crazy hot Scientologist girl. And I'm talking like blonde, beautiful face, and tight shirt, no bra, I will tell you, nipping out. But she was wearing the uniform, but nipping out hard in a shirt with no bra. And they brought her out, and she was like, "Hi, Mike, how are you? Let's talk a little bit." And a lesser man may have folded in the crunch there, folks. But I knew exactly. They were like, "Hey, I'll bet fat lonely guy really would be would go for Tracy or whatever the fuck her name was." So and it just fucking made me so mad, and it showed them for what hucksters they really were. They had nothing to offer, nothing at all, and their final trick was, hey, let's make them feel like she's gonna sleep. Like it became, it became like a strip club with no strippers at that point. It was a strip club but the stripper kept her shirt on, and she wanted to make sure she strapped you into a machine that wasn't going to be on your dick. I mean, that was what it was like. And that was, in my mind, immediately, if they had any shot at all, it went out the fucking window when they tried the nakedly cynical ploy of bringing out the hot chick to talk to me, as if I was just going to be some fat guy who stepped on his dick to get into Scientology because the fucking hot girl with the big nipples talked to me. And, granted, I talked to her for the next, half hour or whatever the fuck it was, because I don't even think I looked in her face after the first time she walked up. I think I might have just stared at her tits the entire time. Because they were Scientologerific. They were fucking unbelievably fantastic tits. I would want to hook up an e-meter to each nipple just to see what the fuck. It was almost like like crazy. They were so perfect, and they were huge, and then the nipples were huge. Like, I just picture her coming in and just shooting thetans out of them. Boom, 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 boom. And I mean, I enjoyed talking to her for the half hour, but then I just I skated out. It was just like gone. So that was that. Because it was funny, I talked about the suicide thing last week, and that was where I was going with it, and then wound up talking about chicks. Kind of like I did just now. So.
We'll be back to the 40-Year-Old Boy right after this.
Hey, what's happening? It's Mike, host of the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast, the show you're listening to right now, unless, of course, I've decided to advertise on other shows, and I don't think that happened. I wanted to tell you guys about the Year One download set, available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. 52 episodes of the 40-Year-Old Boy. It's got all the new artwork and theme music tied in, and it's got my liner notes for every single episode. It's got, I'll tell you about the original music, the titles and running times, ramblings about the episodes themselves. So go ahead and pick up the 40-Year-Old Boy Year One box set at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. The 40-Year-Old Boy Year One. 52 episodes, $25, one brutally funny podcast. Here's something I can tell you, folks. I worked on a short film recently. Literally 15 minutes ago. It was in the middle of this show. It was a short film of me being angry about hair on a microphone. It's a gripping piece. Wait till you folks see it. It's going to be at Sundance. I went ahead and I have an agent, but that agent doesn't know fuck all about me. Like, she doesn't care about me or what I'm doing, or they don't submit me really for commercials or any whatever. That's fine. That's where I am. That's where I exist, and it's my own fault. There's nothing I can do about it right now. Well, there is something I can do about it, but that would mean I have to work. So I submit myself for stuff sometimes, because I'll go to there's websites where you can actually become a member and then submit yourself for projects, and if you get called, great. Well, I got called to do a short film with no pay. First of all, when I saw it was a film called Pole Tricks, and it was set in a strip club. Now, I think we all know that I'm going to submit myself for that goddamn film, because here's why. It had a list of the parts that they were casting. They were casting hot girls who didn't mind being naked, like for Pole Tricks or close to it, and then they were looking for several different bouncer type characters. And I said, and I didn't even care about the bouncer type characters. I would have submitted myself to be like craft services on that fucking film. Really? I can hang out with the hot stripper looking chicks all day? Let's do it. Done. So I submitted for the film and forgot about it. And then I got a call where they're like, hey, you have an audition. I said, great. And I go in an audition, and what they wanted me to do, I had applied for the part, or submitted for the part of Big Sean, who was the world weary, seen it all type bouncer, head bouncer. So I went in and my lines were I was terrible, whatever. Because here's the thing, they wanted me to read for this guy, and I said great. All it was one line, and I never know how I'm doing with one line, but then I did it and I felt fucking terrible. But I will say that the chick was hot, and the director was really cute. So it was like they had me, and then they go before I left, and I knew I tanked it. I knew it wasn't good. They said, hey, we're also having guys be customers. Now, I should tell you this. I have no intention of being a customer, okay? Because a customer basically is an extra. And the fact that I'm even going to be in a short film is a stretch. Being an extra in a short film, do me a favor. Unless it's a snuff film and I'm going to die after it, I got no interest in being a fucking extra in a short film. It's like, if I have lines, then I'll go in because, and for no pay, because it's something that I could maybe get on my reel and see the hot chicks. But as an extra, and this, by the way, this contradicts what I just said about being craft services. Craft services, I wouldn't have to be on camera. So then I'd be in the background just with hot chicks giving them crackers. But if I have to be in the fucking movie itself and be an extra, that's fucking weak. Because then and again, nothing against the guys who were there and wound up being extra is fantastic to you and you make your choice in your career and that's fine for you. But I didn't want to fucking do it. So, they said, looking at the camera, and they said, pretend that you are trying to get a date with one of the strippers. And because it's going to be a montage we're going to have of all the guys just saying things to the strippers, and we'll cut them together. So now, even better, I'm going to be cut like with one word. And again, I have no intention of, even if they say, will you do it, I'm going to say no. But they've asked me to do this in the audition, and I'm not going to go, oh, I'm sorry, I'm an actor. I go, fuck it, I'll do it. So I look into the camera, and I basically do this podcast. Okay, that's what I did. I looked at it and I go, and it's funny. I used the name Cinnamon, and I said, "Hi, Cinnamon." I don't know if that's your real name, but it's fantastic. And I basically went on this weird loop of, "Can I buy you anything? Free anything, really? I don't care. A car, a house, even a sandwich. I mean, let's start with a sandwich and move on to a car or a house, because I would assume that if we got along over the sandwich, maybe I could share the car or the house with you. Can I take your shirt home?" I mean, it was like literally that kind of stupid. So, and I finished, and they were laughing while I was doing it. And then I finished it, and it was funny. The director, this is what she said. She goes, "Wow, that was more awesome than I thought it was going to be." And I'm like, "Oh, good." And she goes, "That almost sounds like you've said it before." And I said, "No, not me. But how do you say no? But every week I just talk off my ass. I mean, that's what I fucking do." So she's like, "Okay, well, we'll call you." And I'm like, "Fantastic." So I leave, and then I walk out into the sea of black shirts and big muscular guys who are all going to get the part over me. So I leave. And then like a week later, I get a note, "Hey, you have a callback for this stripper movie." I said, "Cool." So I go in for pole tricks. And when I get there, by the way, so I get there for the callback. And when you go to audition and stuff in California, in Los Angeles, it's the craziest fucking thing when you audition, because there's 6 different casting directors sharing a floor or a building. So you're out in a holding pen, and it could be you and a bunch of, like muscular football players, and then a bunch of 13-year-old skateboarders, and then a bunch of hot beer bikini chicks, and then a bunch of children. And you're all sitting out in the lobby. It looks like it's like Noah's Ark for failure. I mean, it's just literally 2 by 2 by 2 of fucking all these types who aren't going to get the fucking job. That's what it is. So I'm sitting there in the waiting room. So I come in this time, and sure enough, it's me, and there's like 6 other guys in black T-shirts. And then I look, I try to see the door. I can't, because there's children all over the fucking place. It looks like the ball pit at McDonald's, or like, one of those playlands. There's 1,000 children and 5 hot girls wearing slips. I mean, essentially, like, because they're all trying to get a part as a stripper, so they got to show off the goods. So they're there, and it's like, there's this one girl, oh my Christ, she's sitting on the couch, and she's got stilettos, like lucite, like stilettos on, and which I know it seems weird, but they're lucite in the front, and then they're like chrome stilettos, basically. And she's got her legs crossed, and her dress is just kind of draped a little, like just above her knee, and she's just putting on makeup. So she's got her mouth open, putting the lipstick on. And next to her, there's like an 8-year-old boy just with his mouth open, just like staring, like, because she looks like a space alien as far as he's fucking concerned. Because he's in from the suburbs. His mom is with him. And it's so funny because the mom is talking to another stage mom. She doesn't notice the 8-year-old. He's literally sitting there just looking up at her like, with his jaw dropped, staring at this woman because she's got fucking big heaving tits and she's got her legs crossed. She's obviously a stripper, okay, who's come for a job as a stripper. And if she doesn't book it, she's going to be fucking furious because if you're a stripper who can't get a gig in a movie as a stripper, fucking hang it up. So, but she's putting on the lipstick and she's doing that thing with like the lipstick is like it looked even longer than regular lipstick. I mean, it couldn't have looked more like a cock if it had a fucking vein cut into it. I mean, it was just incredible. And she's leaning forward just like and she's drawing just this coat upon coat of lipstick on her mouth, and just this kid is staring at her. He's got his mouth open, and it was so funny. He's got his mouth open like she's got her mouth open, and then I wonder if he's got a thing, like if he's just kind of like you ever been watching? I'll do this. I'll watch the UFC and I'll be tense, like I'll be completely balled up, and then I'll realize like, dude, you got to calm down, because it's like I'm thinking about how to get out of what the guy on screen is trying to get out of. Like if there was a guy on top of you elbowing you in the face, you're kind of just like flinching, and all of a sudden I'll go, oh, dude, relax. I'm wondering if that was the kid was doing, and then I'm wondering if he was like a little gay guy in training, like if he really wanted to put lipstick on. Like that was the thing. He wasn't just like slack-jawed looking at her like, oh man, look at this. I don't even know what to make of it. Or he's having that weird stirring, like the first stirrings of manhood in his little 8-year-old body or 9-year-old body. Or if he was just like I said, like a little gay guy who was just like, I really want to put that lipstick on. How great would that be? That's my shade. I'm a fucking winter. I don't know. I don't want to judge this 8-year-old kid. I prefer to think that he was just like so amazed at seeing something he'd never seen before, this woman. So she's there, she's putting it on. So then they call me in for my audition. And also when you go in an audition, usually it's just you, but sometimes they'll bring you in with 2 other people and you do the whole scene, whatever. I walk into this small room and they had, 15 people in this room. Oh my God. It seems like 15. And we're all bouncer muscular dudes. I mean, we're in the room and it's 15. That can't be. It had to be 8. It's just the room was so small. It looked like it could be 15, but it was just. And also, we're all giant dudes. It was like this wall of black shirts and attitude. So, they've told me that I'm no longer Big Sean. I'm Frankie. Frankie's another bouncer. And the thing is, I looked at the script and I was excited because Big Sean had one line. This is Big Sean's line. Okay, you ready? He says, "Nah, I'm going to put that money on my man Eddie." That's Big Sean's line. That's it. But Frankie is the catalyst of the scene. Frankie's got like 5 lines. So I'm like, the reason they made me Frankie is because obviously I could talk. And also, the reason I didn't submit for Frankie was because it said 25 to 35. And folks, as much as I'd like to think that I could play 25 to 35, I don't think it's possible anymore. I just don't see them going, yeah, by all means, like, what do I need to do? Do I need to, like, have a pierced nose or a ponytail? What the fuck do I got to do to pull that off? I'm an old fat guy, and that's who I am. So I go ahead, and I walk in, and I've got my Frankie sides. That's the script, folks. And they basically have me run Frankie like 5 different times with all these different actors. So in my head, I'm like, wait a minute. Am I the only guy getting looked at for Frankie? Because everybody else is Big Sean, and one guy's Eddie, and then there's a customer, and I'm talking to all of them in all these different scenes. But they do the scene 5 different times, and they keep changing out the other 2 guys and leaving me in with the other 2 guys. So it's like, all right, so I'm Frankie. I guess I'm Frankie the whole time. And then I'm thinking I must be Frankie in the movie. But then they're like, all right, we've got 2 other Frankies out in the lobby. So Mike, nice working with you. And I will tell you, when I'm auditioning, well, it was okay. That's fine. I will tell you when I'm auditioning. One of the guys who came in and played Eddie was, I must tell you folks, you see acting and you're like, hey, acting's easy. And then you audition with people who make you realize acting's hard. One of those people is me, because I suck. I mean, I will fully tell you that I don't. I mean, I think I can do what I'm told, but I don't know if I'm the king of acting. That's a weird leap, isn't it? To go from being competent to the king of acting. Of course, I'm not the king of acting. But the guy that has to play Eddie, he's totally. I mean, he looked like he watched every episode of The Sopranos on his way to the fucking audition. Because I got to talk to him, and he has to be kind of like smart-assy to me. And this, all right, this gets to me being a fucking weirdo. I have to kind of say to him, dude, this is the line I got to say to him. I go, dude, I'm not paying you. You still owe me $5 from the last bet. That's like Frankie's line. And then he goes, hey, I ain't paying you for the whole thing. And he has to come on like kind of a stiff prick, but he comes on like he's going to beat me up. Like, and it's really weird. It's a weird choice in the scene because everybody gets to make their own choice. So I'm me. I choose to play Frankie as if it was Mike Schmidt, and so I get to be glib and funny and try to be me. This guy decides to be fucking Christopher from The Sopranos, and he bellies up to me and he gets nose to nose on me, and he goes, "Hey, I'm not paying you the whole thing. You know what? She only got $250." And it's like, and his breath. I mean, he even smelled like he was eating scungili. I mean, it was like the worst. Like, he went for a method actor breakfast of fucking pasta before he came to the goddamn thing. His breath just smells like clam sauce and fucking Italy. You know what I mean? It's just like the soil from the ground in Tuscany. So, and he's like right in my face. And, I've got to play it like a jovial, fun guy. Okay? But he gets right in my face. And I mean, part of me kicks in where I go, I'm going to punch this motherfucker because he's trying to Bigfoot me in this fucking thing and make me look like a fucking pansy, and I'm not gonna fucking have that. I'm gonna punch this guy right in his fucking, red and green face. So, but in my head, I have to just go with the scene and be myself. But I also wanted. Maybe that's why I'm having trouble at acting, is because I wanted to fight this guy. Like, I'm just like, dude, that's how good he was at what he was doing. He made me want to fucking kill him. So he sidled up to me and he's like right in my face, and I just kind of and I just go, okay, like, and I just continue with the scene. But he did it like all 3 times when I had to work with him, and I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? So then they sent me on my way, so I split, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess I didn't get it. That's fine. Sure enough, I get an email. Bingo, I got the part of Frankie. So I get to be in the short film as Frankie. So I go to film the short film at the Fake Strip Club. And it's a club down in Hollywood, and I get there, and there was like 6 girls. The star of the piece, the girl who wrote it and who built the thing up around her, she's fucking hot. I mean, she was crazy hot. Like, and she had, let's put it this way: when we were working, she had to finish quickly because she was going to a fitting for Californication because she got a part as a stripper for the week. And so she was fucking sharp, and she's wearing like 2 different bikinis and just fucking, oh my god. So then we film a scene. So I have to go to this thing, and I show up, and again, Hollywood folks, short films. All these people think they're in show business. Okay, just because you're being filmed talking doesn't mean you're in goddamn show business. All right, we're in the middle of some fucking dilapidated building in Hollywood, pretending to be at a strip club. We're all sitting on metal folding chairs. Grow up. You're not in. We're not in Ocean's 14. So. It doesn't matter. I walk in and I fill out my paperwork and I go sit down in the little green room area. And there's hot ladies. There's one girl in like a white thong, but she's wearing like a little white gauzy robe over it, so you can kind of see ass, but you really can't see ass. But she was sharp. A couple of the other girls were cute. There was one girl who looked kind of plain, sitting down. She's got and she had a big trench coat on. I mean, it's just because they're all covered up because we're having lunch. We're all in between scenes. The producer guy comes over. And I'm sure he's a lovely man. But he immediately starts acting like he is the king of Hollywood. Like he's telling a story. Some woman goes, one of the women goes, "Oh, I saw the funniest movie last night, The Hangover. It was so funny." And she didn't even get to talk about how funny it was. The producer goes, "Nah, funniest movie in the world, Talladega Nights." Like, we weren't even discussing that. Nobody was talking. It was this one woman saying that last night she had seen The Hangover and she thought it was the funniest movie ever. And he goes, "No, funniest movie in the world, Talladega Nights. Will Ferrell's funniest movie, bar none." And this woman sitting there, another woman, the woman in the trench coat, goes, "I think Anchorman was pretty funny." Like, completely, like, nondescript. She's just trying to kind of participate, and she's humoring this idiot. And he just goes, "No, Talladega Nights is so much funnier. Have you ever seen it?" And both these girls go, "No." And he goes, "You know what? Here." And he gets his wallet out. He gives them each a business card. "Here's my business card. Watch Talladega Nights and then call me, and you will tell me it is funnier than Anchorman and funnier than that movie that you said." Like, dude, are you working for fucking Talladega Nights? This movie came out like 5 years ago. Who the fuck cares how funny you think it is? And he goes, "Believe me," he goes, "I've been producing movies since when you were kids." And he says that to the guy sitting next to me, who is playing Big Sean, the original person I went in. This guy is this will tell you all you need to know. This guy is routinely getting work as a stand-in for Ving Rhames. Okay, this guy is huge, big dude, bald, and he's an older guy because he's got a little gray in his mustache. And he goes, "I've been making movies since you were kids." And the bouncer just goes, the Big Sean guy goes, "Yeah, I don't think that's true." just to be nice, like kind of joking. And he goes, no. He goes, I started with a little movie called The Sandlot. Have you ever heard of it? And I immediately leaned forward. Because, again, I'm staying out of it, folks, because I'm no good at this, because I will eviscerate this guy and then get kicked off the set. So I just lean forward. I go, The Sandlot, huh? And I look at the other bouncer guy, Big Sean, and I go, so that makes you today, well, how old are you today, 14? Because he said he was making movies from the time he was a kid. And the guy, and he laughed, and the guy goes, no, he goes, I started on The Sandlot, and you know what, I'll tell you what, he goes, I was just talking to Wesley last night, that's Wesley Snipes, and we were talking about a time that we've been, because he and I, we go back, way back. And he starts telling stories about he and Wesley Snipes are friends. And then he goes, and then, you know what, there was the time I introduced the world to a little actress by the name of Halle Berry. He actually said that sentence. Like, I'm not even joking or making it up. He said, there was the time I introduced the world to a little actress named Halle Berry. We were on the last Boy Scout, and she said to me, you know what, I don't think I can do this. And I said, what? She said, this acting, because she was a model at the time. And she said, I don't think I can do this acting. And he said, you know what? You can do it easy. He goes, you're beautiful, so you can pull that off, and all you got to do is just be yourself, and then it'll be perfect, and everything's going to be fine. And sure enough, she wins an Oscar. He's talking like that. Again, I'm not making it up. I'm not joking. And people are just, and this is, again, on those types of productions, there's always, he's the Anthony Michael Hall from 16 Candles. He's king of the dipshits, okay? Because the other people are all just kind of nodding like, oh, wow, that's a great story when you introduced the world to Halle Berry. Did you really introduce the world to Halle Berry? That's funny, because now you're getting meat carrots on a fake fucking stripper film. Why don't you fill up the craft service and shut the fuck up, dude? I don't say that, of course. I say it in my tiny brain. As I sit there, staring at my phone, praying it would fucking ring. Remember when you were a kid, there was a number you could dial to make your phone ring? I wish to God there was something like that you could do with your cell phone. Because I just want anything to cut the fucking tension of me going up this guy's head and going, really? You and Wesley Snipes and the time you introduced Halle Berry? Shut the fuck up and get me some more ring dings, you fuck. And he would have said, we don't have any ring dings. And I would have said, exactly, drive to Philadelphia and get me some fucking ring dings. He was so awful. And it's just being there, again, I'm a misfit, folks. I have trouble talking to people anyway. But then all these extras are talking about like they're in the business. They're like, oh, I was in that movie. I was in that movie. No, you weren't. You were in that movie like a fucking door was in that movie. You're in the goddamn background saying peas and carrots and fruit cocktail. You're miming speaking because no one allows you to speak on camera. That's how terrible you are. You're still breaking into the biz, but because you owned a shiny suit, you were able to go in there and be in that fucking movie. Don't act like you're in the fucking business. None of us are in the business. You know what? The woman who wrote it might be in the business, and the director, she might be in the business. The rest of us are killing a fucking Sunday afternoon. So I'm sitting there. And then all the extras start telling their fucking I'm in a movie stories. Oh, Jesus Christ. And then this happened, okay? I'm playing a bouncer. And there's another guy who sits next to me, and he goes, bouncer. He goes, boy, that's one job I would never want to do. I go, yeah, it's tough sometimes. And he goes, are you a bouncer now? I go, you know what? I was a bouncer for years. Like I worked at a couple clubs in Hollywood. Completely out of nowhere, another extra sitting there leans forward and goes, I do bodyguard work for the stars. As if we were, you know what it was? It was like our conversation was the highway and he's waiting to merge and he just fucking cut me off with his interesting anecdote of being a celebrity bodyguard for the stars. And I just looked up, and of course all the extras they sniff out any sort of fame at all, and they immediately crowd around it like the fucking apes at the beginning of 2001 around the fucking obelisk. They're all just like, oh, you've met the stars? Fucking horrible. So I just lean back. I go, you know what? Again, I'm out. I'm not going to tell my bouncer story. I was genuinely, and again, I normally wouldn't. If the guy hadn't started with conversation with me, I would have never brought it up because who the fuck cares? I'm playing a fake bouncer in a fake strip club on a fake Sunday. What the fuck? With a fake producer, with a fake Halle Berry and a fake Wesley Snipes fucking story. And not a fake Snipes story like fake Snipes from my gym, who I've talked about. I don't know if I've even talked about him on the show. I did on Never Not Funny. Fake Snipes was a guy who looked like Wesley Snipes at my gym, who would like run around and cheer for everybody. He was the greatest. So I would be like, fake Snipes. All right. But I mean, he's got a fake Wesley Snipes story. Not a story about fake Wesley Snipes. A fake story about Wesley Snipes. All right. Just to clarify, in case you're doing a glossary or keeping score at home.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and coming up, The Velvet Rope.
Let bouncers Big James and Chewy make you think twice about going to a nightclub ever again.
Did you work Friday?
No, got suspended.
What?
Yeah, the other day, last week I had to work.
Yeah.
This fucking guy spits a drink right in my face.
You fucking
Yeah,
kidding me.
I tell Michael, do it again. Do it one more fucking time. Try it again. So he
fuck-
does it again, you know what I do?
You did it again?
You know what I do?
What? I know what you fucking did. I know you.
Grabbed him by the balls.
Ballsack. Yeah, you did, didn't you?
And I picked him up over my head like a fucking cowboy. Swinging him around like a lasso, like I'm gonna rope a bull or some shit.
Yeah.
And then, you know what happens?
What happens?
Fucking nuts come off in my hand. The guy goes flying across the street.
You're fucking kidding me. You're holding his nuts. They fucking come off?
So he's gonna file some kind of thing.
Yeah.
But so they had to put me off.
Where's his balls?
You want to see him?
Hot ladies always get in free. The Velvet Rope on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
Fucking guy.
And now back to the 40-year-old boy. Already in progress.
So this guy jumps in with his, I was the celebrity bodyguard of the fucking stars. And this is his story. He goes, yeah, I was working, I was working for Puff. You know how it is. Oh, sure, you and Puff? Puff and you are good friends? As you sit here in your dilapidated, moth-eaten fucking tracksuit, stuffing free crackers into your pocket so you have something to eat later, you fuck? Me and Puff, he was working for him he goes, yeah, last week I was on a yacht. And I was working for Puff, and it was funny because I was on the yacht and they brought out a stripper pole because they were assembling a stripper pole on the set of the movie. And he goes, oh yeah, I was at a party on a yacht last week working for Puff, and then they were putting a strip pole up, and I was like, oh, you know what, that seems like a bit much, right? And I knew he's lying. I know he's lying. So I can't hold my. I just fucking he's telling this, and finally I just go, where were you on a party on a yacht? And he goes, oh yeah, Santa Monica. I go, when? Because I want answers. Now, it's just because people who lie will do that vague thing. Yeah, I was at a party on a yacht, and they broke out a stripper pole, and I was like, oh, man, something's going to happen here, right? So I go, okay, where? He goes, Santa Monica. And I go, when? When were you at that? He goes, oh, last week. I was working, like I said. I go, okay, well, what happened? I want to hear about this party. Like, what happened at the party? He goes, oh, man, they were putting up the stripper pole. I go, great. They're putting up the stripper pole, and you're there, and you said, oh, this is a bit much. What happened then? What craziness happened on the yacht? Because now I can't stop myself now because I pretend like I want to hear his story, but I'm trying to just fucking nail him to a wall. And then literally, but I won because he goes, oh, I left. Really? Yeah, it was getting late, so I took off. Oh, yeah, because I know when I'm at a party on a yacht, the second they put up the stripper pole, I go, I got to get out of here. Hold on. No, I don't say any of that to him. He goes, oh, I left. And I go, you left? Okay. And I just fucking kept reading my phone, staring at it, praying it would ring. And then, he keeps talking. Like he's like, oh yeah, so then they were telling me I was working one time for a guy and he said, you know what? Because again, now he's got a group of people around him listening to his tales of the fucking bouncer. And he's like, oh yeah, there was one time I was working for a guy and he said, you know what? If my brother shows up, take him out. Just take him out. And I said, really? He goes, yeah, man. He goes, just take him out. Do whatever you got to do. Just take care of him. And then his brother showed up, and he was strapped, like he was carrying a gun, And I was like, oh, man, I don't know if I can go ahead and take this guy out because, it's his brother. So if I take him out, then maybe he and his brother are both going to shoot me. Like maybe his brother might have been crazy. So he's telling. Finally, I just go, so what'd you do? Like, because I'm like literally looking for me. Oh, so what'd you do? And he goes, oh, what do you mean? And I go, did you take his brother out? And he goes, no, man, I thought they'd, And I go, so what did you do? Like, how did you explain to the other guy that you didn't take his brother out? He goes, oh, man, I ain't even trying to hear that. That's what he said to me. What do you mean I ain't even trying to hear that? What are you ain't trying to hear me asking what happened in your story? And so I said, you ain't trying to, what? And he goes, I'm not even going to go there. Again, that's what people say when they have nothing left to fucking say. He has no answer. He can't tell me about his brother or any fucking Kanye or any bullshit that happened. He has to just go, oh, I ain't even going to go there. What, you're not going to tell us the rest of the story you started? Why? Because you see me leaping in with a bullshit detector and understanding that everything you're saying is a fucking lie, you hump? Awful. So I'm praying the phone will ring. Instead, they say, let's go, time to shoot. So they set up the strippers. And, Plain Jane is in her trench coat, and she goes in the back, and everybody's getting their makeup done and doing stuff. And there was one girl who looked like Denise Richards, but not like a knockoff Denise Richards, like a little older, kind of. And she had mousy brown hair, and it was corkscrewed. And but then she came out in her little stripper suit, and she looked pretty good. So we're filming the scene, and it's like everybody's got to be going good in the background. And she tells me, she goes, all right, what you're going to do is you're going to cross over to Big Sean and Eddie, and you tell them something. But, obviously you don't talk because, we're filming. And so then you guys leave. Like you're telling that there's a disturbance out front or something. So I will tell you this about me as far as my acting career. I am terrible at business. Business and acting means faking stuff. Like if you want me to talk, I'm good at talking. But if you tell me to fake talk, I never know what to do or say with my hands. I don't know what the fuck to do. It's like when you have to answer a fake phone. You know what I mean? Or when you have to pretend that you're counting money or eating. Like, it's just, I'm terrible at miming business. Like in auditions, I'm supposed to do it all the time, and I'm fucking horrible at it. So I have to keep crossing the room while they're saying action. And the first time I do, they say action, and I go to cross the room and talk to Big Sean and Eddie. And as I'm talking to them, Trenchcoat walks out of the back, and they've tied like Victoria's Secret wings on her. And she comes walking out, and I go to talk to Sean, and I turn my head, and I'm just like, what the fuck? She has the fucking hottest ass ever. Like, I mean, because she's in a trench coat and looking like a plain Jane. She walks out in a white bikini and angel wings, and I'm just like, dude, this just made everything worth it. Seriously. I mean, because she had this weird pin straight hair, but boy, did she look fucking hot when she comes walking out of the back. And we keep filming the scene, and as I do, I got to keep mouthing stuff to Eddie and Big Sean, and I have this weird disease where I don't like repeating anything. I don't like repeating anything, even if I'm not saying anything. For some reason, I don't like doing it. So every time I walk up there, in my head, I'm trying to think of a different sentence that I'm saying to them to get them out of the club. So I keep walking up to the front, and I'm going, so I have to mouth this, mind you, but I do say it. I go, guys, Japanese Yakuza's out front. We got a negotiation. We got to sit down with them. And then we walk out. That was one take. Another take was, dudes, you're not going to believe this. There's a fucking gorilla at the front door, and it has the cover charge. Do I let him in? And then we turn around and we walk off to the door. And then I walk off, and I walk up one time, and I go, fellas, seriously, pin straight hair and angel wings, we'd all fuck her, right? Every single one of us right here in the club during this film, we go ahead and walk out the front door. Because I'm incapable of just going like blah, 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 blah. Let's leave. I have to continue mouthing. And I'm mouthing these soliloquies where they're finally like looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And we go walking out the front door. So I have to do this 100 times. Then there's another scene where I have to cross over and I have to scold a guy who's touching the strippers. Okay. So they tell me just walk over there and do it. Now, he had been scolded earlier by Big Sean. Big Sean grabbed him and said, hey, buddy, watch it, no hands. And he was like, oh, okay, all right. And he kind of like, sorry. So then this time when they tell me to do it, I walk over to this guy. He's in a cowboy suit. I go, hey, watch your hands. This is the second time we're fucking telling you. And he goes, hey, man, I can put my hands anywhere I want. Now, this is a problem. Because if this is a real film, if this is a real strip club, and that guy says that to the bouncer, he's spitting teeth on the curb in 5 minutes because the fucking bouncer jacks him, grabs him, drags him the fuck out. But no, I have to sit there, and again, it's that weird thing, same thing from the audition where this guy challenges me, and, as a real bouncer, I would put him in a fucking chicken wing and crossface and drag him out the fucking door. I mean, it wouldn't even be an issue. I would walk up to him and go, hey, dude, you got to watch your fucking hands. It's the second time we're telling you not to touch the girls. And he said, fuck you, I can put my hands anywhere I want. Boom, wrist lock, behind his back, chicken wing, fucking crossface, gone. But instead, I got to sit there because we're filming and just go, nobody argues with a drunk. I would just, I have to go, no, watch your fucking hands, dude, seriously. And he goes, no, you watch your fucking hands. And now it's like, literally, I'm buzzing because, again, I go from actor to weird bouncer to like, I'm going to fucking smash this guy. But I can't smash him. But I want to. But that's the thing is, so I have to just kind of play the scene out. So then I just grab his wrist and I'm like looking at him. I'm going, seriously, I will take this fucking hand home with me if you touch her a second fucking time. And then he's like, whatever, man. Like he's fighting with me. And then they call cut. And I almost wanted to go to the director and go, I know, I'm like Method Joe. I wanted to go, dude, can he back down? Because I wouldn't argue with this motherfucker. I would just fucking play Wipeout on his head and drag him out the fucking door. Seriously. But I don't. So we go through that scene a couple more times. And again, he's a big tough guy. And then I have to just be like, yeah, well, stop doing it, jerk. And then I'm a rap. So I rap for that day. And they're like, I had to come and film my dialogue scene the next day. So I said, okay, great. So I leave and I go to film my dialogue scene the next day. And everybody's very nice. Again, the guy who played Big Sean, the guy who played Eddie was great. The guy, they were very cool. So we go to film our dialogue scene. And our dialogue scene ends at a certain point. Basically, here's the dialogue. I walk up and I go, Big Sean, I got $5 that said Matt nails honey first. And he goes, no, my money's on Eddie. And I go, fuck Eddie, I'm not paying. He hasn't paid me from the last bet. And then Eddie goes, hey, man, he only got head. I'm giving you $250. And I go, wait a minute, sexual acts are prorated? So you're telling me it's $5 for sex, $250 for head. What is it for anal, $10? And they both look at me and they go, 25 in unison. And that's the end of the scene. But it just seems like it's an unnatural ending, and she never says cut. So even when we were doing it in the fucking audition, I would keep talking until she says cut, because that's what you do. So we go to film it, and then we do the first take, and they go 25. I go 25 for anal. That makes no sense. This is a strip club. For these girls, anal is like currency. Like guys have singles and girls have anal. That's how they get what they want in this club. And then they start kind of running away, and we do that, and then she's like cut, and they start laughing, and we film the scene like 15 times, okay, because there's cars, whatever the fuck, we're outside, and I keep making up different shit to say at the end, because again, I can't just repeat it because I want it to be funny. So they go 25 in a take, and I go 25 for anal. How much for an Asian cartwheel? And they're like, she goes, cut. And they start laughing. They go, dude, what the fuck is an Asian cartwheel? And this crew guy goes, yeah, what's an Asian cartwheel? And he's Asian. And one of the other bouncers, Sigmund, looks at him and goes, how do you not know? Right in his face. Fucking perfect.
Oh, God.
I just fucking gave him the crazy high five, because I was like, dude, right in his face. And then I'm celebrating while this guy is holding a boom mic, or whatever the fuck he was holding, And I'm like, well, I don't mean, we're not making fun of you per se, but it was pretty fucking funny that he just said that to you. So I kept making shit up, and they would say, what is it? I go, I have no, and here's what, because I would say, how much for an Asian cartwheel? And they'd go, dude, what's an Asian cartwheel? Like on camera. And I go, oh, let me tell you something. Your wrist hurts for like an hour, but it is fucking worth it. So I kept making shit up all the time. And it was like, how much for a Toledo handstand? And how much for a filthy dolphin? And they would laugh. I mean, like the crew guys would laugh. So I'm trying to get how much for a backdoor penguin? I made up a backdoor penguin. And how much for a Cincinnati filibuster? So I kept making shit up while we were there to be stupid. And I also said California snowball. And I said that when I go, how much for a California snowball? And then the scene ended. And I said, then this guy goes, what's a California snowball? I go, that one's actually real. And he goes, what? And I go, that one's real. And the boom chick goes, I think I've heard that in a movie before. I said, really? Which one? And she's like, I can't figure it out, but I think I know. And then this guy goes, what's a snowball? And Eddie, the guy playing Eddie, goes, what is it? And I tell him what it is. Which, if you don't know what a California snowball is, folks, it's when, all right, brace yourselves. Is when your partner goes down on you, and then you come in her mouth, and then she spits it back in your mouth, and then you spit it down in her vagina. That's a California snowball. So, something I've unfortunately known since I was a kid. And not that I was involved, but I heard tell of it around the playground when I was 9. All right, so as I stared at the stripper putting her lipstick on, and then the boom, all of a sudden, like, we go for a next take, and we're setting up, and she's like, all right, you guys ready? And we're like, yeah. And the boom mic goes, Clerks! I look at her, and I go, what? And she goes, Clerks, it's in Clerks. I go, what is? She goes, California snowballs in Clerks. I go, oh. I go, you know what? I think so. She goes, Kevin Smith, And I go, yes, okay, I got it. I don't have a prize for you, but nicely done. But then part of me was pissed, because it felt like she was exposing me in some way that I had stolen something from Kevin Smith when I had just made up Asian cartwheel 100 times. I made up filthy dolphin and Cincinnati filibuster. I don't get any credit for those. She went with fucking snowball and Clerks. Pissed me off. I tell you what, I can only hope for the day that someday a boom guy looks at Kevin Smith and goes, filthy dolphin? That's fucking Mike Schmidt. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at MySpace.com/MikeSchmidtComedy. Please remember that you can go ahead and be my friend and Lily Von Stup's friend on MySpace. And she needs all the friends she can get, folks. Again, she's having knee surgery tomorrow. I don't know if I mentioned she's going under the knife. So please continue to send those PayPal contributions her way. Also, go to Facebook and be our friends. I will tell you that now at Facebook, I am at facebook.com/the40year-old-boy, and that is always is the number 40. I wanted to be the Mike Schmidt, but not available, folks. Apparently, I missed it over the weekend because I was elsewhere and unable to go ahead and get that, so that was disappointing. But I'm at it's facebook.com/the40year-old-boy, and you are at Facebook.com/LilyVonStupp. So go ahead and be our friends on Facebook and comment and send us fun things. Also remember the Monday Night Tease is every Monday night. I will tell you that Lily will not be there the next 2 weeks, unfortunately, because of her knee surgery. But go see fun, exciting ladies and their aired out genitals. That'll be fun. That's the Monday Night Tease every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. And also remember, if you have anything to send me via the P.O. Box, go ahead and write me, and I will give you the P.O. Box number. I've already gotten a few things from people. Thank you so much. And I will be writing you to thank you, to tell you that I got them. But if you listen to this, I got them. So if you guys want to send me stuff, go ahead and write me, and I will give you the P.O. Box number. There's no point in giving it over here because God knows who would get a hold of it and then send me a vial of anthrax. I'm going to eat pie out of your skull, you fuck.
Who among us has not had that thought at one time or another? I know I think it 2 or 3 times a day. Hi, this is Mike, host of the 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast, the show you're listening to right now. I wanted to tell you about the I'm Gonna Eat Pie Out of Your Skull t-shirts, available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. A fantastic drawing by my buddy Mex on the front, and words that I said and wrote on the back of the shirt. So go ahead and pick it up. Sizes vary and prices vary by size. I think big guys got to pay a little more, but why not? It's worth it to look down and see that picture of delicious pie on your chest all day long. So go over to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and look into buying an I'm Gonna Eat Pie Out of Your Skull t-shirt today.
I don't know why I always think people are going to send me anthrax. I mean, just why would if you were a terrorist? Seriously, folks. I understand when they send it to NBC and to Brian Williams and people like that. Why would you send it to me? It's a podcast. There's no sense in killing me. Certainly not with something as diabolical as weapons-grade anthrax. Although part of me wishes that would happen. Like that, how great would that? How much publicity would that be for the show if some dude sent me weapons-grade anthrax to my P.O. box because of my podcast? Oh man, I'd be a hit. I'd be fucking dead, but I'd be a hit. I was on a plane this weekend. I was flying around. I do that. I go American. And here's the irony: I'm an American. And folks, I'm fat. That's no surprise or secret to any of you. And then when it's funny, when I lost all my weight and got down to the thinnest I'd been, flying was a luxury. Even at 270, flying was just fantastic. It was like, it's like a spa in the sky. But now I'm fat again. Not crazy fat like I used to. When I was 500 pounds, folks, imagine me on a plane. Literally, the plane would lilt to the side wherever I was fucking sitting. But now I'm still a big dude. And inevitably people give me that eye roll when they come down and they see that they have to sit next to me. Oh, it's just a tragedy. And here's what I do on a plane, folks. If you're on a plane with me and you see me walking down the aisle, it could be your lucky day because you could be a lottery winner. Because what I do when I get on a plane is I find if somebody has a middle seat, like, because I sit in the window. I sit in the window seat. When I was a fat guy, when a really fat guy, I sat on the aisle, so I could actually lean into the aisle virtually the entire flight, so I didn't fucking completely squash the person next to me and overtake them. So I tried to be as cool as I could and lean over as far as I could. Now in a window seat, I just bury myself in the window and go to sleep. So if you are on a plane with me and there's someone in the middle seat next to me and you don't have someone in the middle seat by you, I will offer you $20 to switch seats with me. I do it all the time. I go, look, this is weird. I will give you $20 if you switch seats with me. And it's worked. I would say it works 80% of the time. Some people are just like, no. And then, of course, I get irrationally angry because I think everybody should want $20. Even though those people probably feel the same way that I fucking do, that, 5 hours of comfort is worth fucking $20. You know what I mean? It's worth $4 an hour to be comfortable. So this time on the plane, the only problem with that strategy, folks, that's no longer a valid strategy because there is never an empty seat on a motherfucking airplane anymore. Because here's what the airlines have done. I flew American, folks. I flew on a flight from L.A. to Chicago nonstop. Unfortunately, it was going from L.A. to Chicago to Indianapolis to New York. So that's what they do is they herd everybody from all of those flights onto that fucking plane and then hopscotch across the United States, fucking them and making them uncomfortable, making sure that they're not going to fucking have any breathing room at all the entire time they're in the fucking air. Because they can't pay for it anymore. Everybody's losing money, so they're doubling up and jamming as many fucking people into the plane as they possibly can. Also, get this on American. First of all, you got to pay for the baggage. Yes, that's fine. You got to pay for the extra bag. I get that. Whatever, $15. Stupid, makes no sense, but you got to do it. Then, no snack. They didn't even sell the boxes of crackers and fucking tins of herring, whatever the fuck they try to sell you in the air. They didn't even give you a free bag of pretzels. Pretzels are gone. They're out. They eliminated them. They didn't have pillows either. You can get a fucking blanket. Jesus fuck. It's like literally you have more accommodations in a time machine than you do in a plane. When you strap yourself into a time machine and you set the dial for 1811 and you're there in a second, it is a more comfortable flight than you have on the plane anymore. Unbelievable. So I sit and I'm in the window seat on the return flight home. Pretty little Asian girl sits next to me. She was Chinese, and she's tiny. I mean, she's a fucking spinner. And she just comes in and she sits right next to me, and I always apologize. And I go, look, I'm very sorry. I'm kind of a big dude, and I don't mean to squash you, but I won't. And it's not that bad, but I try to overcompensate with my apology. So. She's like, oh no, and she's very polite, and she's like, no, it's okay. And the armrest is up in between us. And I say, would you like this armrest down? And she goes, well, what is more comfortable for you? Which I thought was really nice. And I go, well, I don't mind putting it down. So I go and I push the armrest down. And, I'm being nice. She's being really nice. We're getting along. And I push the armrest down, and it's kind of squashing because, again, I'm a big dude with a fat gut. And she sees it, and she goes, oh my gosh, does that hurt? And this is what I say. Mr. Smooth, who's got the little cute Asian girl next to him he's about to spend 5 hours with and is actually kind of hitting it off with her a little bit. This is what I say. And I go, nah, don't worry about that. That's all loose meat. That's what I say. That's what comes out of my fucking mouth. That's all loose meat. Really? Could there be a more undecidedly sexy way of putting it? I mean, you could have said, no, I'm sorry, I just have a dead baby in there. Literally, and then that would have been more acceptable than, don't worry, that's all just loose meat. Oh, you fucking gross, disgusting person. That's horrible that you said that. And believe me, she hears that, and my hope for a happy ending over Nebraska goes right out the fucking window. That's not happening. No more am I going to be able to put a blanket on my lap and get a sneaky hand job from, Little Miss Gong. That's not going to happen. No, I'm finished. I got no fucking chance at that because it's just loose meat. She's not going to reach over my loose meat and grab a hand of, not so loose meat and go to work. No, we're finished. I couldn't believe I said it. It was like, and again, a car accident. You've heard it many times where you open your mouth and you're saying it. Because I don't think before I speak, folks. As you know from this show, I don't fucking think before I speak. So I dropped that in her lap. And I can imagine now, I mean, honestly, that's a vision that would haunt me forever. If somebody said that to me, someone I didn't even know, no, that's just loose meat. And who talks like that? A fucking serial killer? That's who talks like that. Who decides that flesh is just, that's just loose meat? You gotta be fucking kidding me. That's like an Ed Gein, Jeffrey Dahmer thing to say. That's not good. Unbelievable. But sure enough, I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a decent guy because I am a jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Man, I'm an awful guy. I'm not an awful guy. I am not a good guy. But I don't think I'm a bad person overall. So, and go ahead and by all means judge that. I'm kind of a jagoff. I got no future. What am I talking about? But I am a jagoff. And I'm not a jerk. I'm a nice guy. It's just, I guess I have jerky tendencies. I've done so much ridiculous stuff, and then I wonder afterwards, I'm like, man, how come I don't hang out with anybody? Here's why, because you're a dick. You're finished. You're finished. You're finished. You're finished. You're finished. You're finished. You're finished.